Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hmm. Hi, beautiful people. So nice to do a little yin practice together. It's rare I offer a live Zoom, and we're here uh, in my in-laws' TV and pool room. Unbeknownst to me, when I scheduled this live session, I would be here. And you know the Ram Dass quote, if you think you're enlightened, go spend a week with family. I'm gonna up level that. If you think you have a practice, go spend a week with your husband's family. Oh, no, it's really good to be here with you all. And it's actually quite appropriate to do a class centered on the heart channel, where we're going to be skating and tracing and nourishing the chi flow through the heart meridian. And I love that I have the excuse of this time to depart from the comings and goings of the family and the momentum and the activity of this week, because the heart is the storehouse of the spirit. The heart holds what is called the Shen, and it benefits from silence and stillness, and benefits deeply from taking selfish space. And I use selfish in the most warm-hearted, golden, benevolent way. It gets a negative connotation, but the heart really requires us to step away from social interaction and from family obligations and from all the hats we wear and all the roles we play. For those of you that are just joining in, I'm tuning in from my in-laws' TV room, and so I'm just sharing that as a heart practice, it's a really appropriate time. The heat of summer, the height of all this yang social activity where we're being so productive, we tend to be more engaging with others, more heightened yang energy, and the heart needs that seed of reclusivity to just come back home to ourselves. In the West, we talk a lot about filling the heart, and we think of, we're such a consumptive culture. We think that the more we fill the heart with, the healthier it will be, right? More love, more joy, full of appreciation, full of friendship, full of adoration. But the ancients and the Eastern insight seekers, they would say, no, no, it's not about filling the heart. It's actually the reverse. It's about emptying the heart. A healthy heart likes to feel open and empty. And this vast expanse of anahata, this unstruck chord of the heart chakra, which is to say, we need some time to just kind of clear the cobwebs from this heart channel and all that we're holding there and defining ourselves by our relationships and what other people say we are. We need a place to decondition from our social beingness. So just setting up the context today that we're cultivating a spacious awareness through the heart. And those of you that are new to the fire element and this meridian, it runs from center of the chest. And we're going to do all this work through the arm bones, the shoulder, the elbow joint, comes all the way through pinky finger. So I like to think of a pinky promise as like a promise you're making directly from the center of the heart. You can remember it from the heart through the pinky fingers. And one more just analytical piece I'll weave in at the introduction before we come into the practice. So nice to have you here. Thank you for being here. One more piece I want to add is this quality of metta or loving kindness is one of the ways that we clear the junk from the heart channel and streamline the trajectory of prana. Loving kindness or this friendliness we adopt, yes, in the way we treat ourselves in the practice field, and then also in how we relate to others. And the Buddha suggested metta as one of the 4 essential ingredients we cultivate for a healthy heart. One of the divine abodes, the Brahma Viharas, is a loving kindness practice. So we're going to weave that in today. And essentially, the suggestion is the way you feel about your most beloved people, your children, or your most beloved beings, your pet, your children, your closest friend, the way you feel for those beings, and then the way you feel for everybody else. That space between is the work that we have to do while we're here, while we're alive. And that's a pretty steep task, seeing as there's so many people out there right now whom are not so terribly lovable. But there's the space that we have to cultivate this attitude of willingness and friendliness. And if we can stir that up today, we've actually evolved the human psyche just a touch in the right direction. So let's start in a butterfly forward bend. Yeah, it's one of my favorite shapes to start with. Open so many of the low body meridians. Bring the soles of the feet together and the knees line. You can see I'm here in a TV room on a carpet with some pillows nearby. You're traveling and you don't have a mat. You can do this all in a bed, on the floor of your in-laws' house. Hopefully you've set up a little bit of a nest. Pillows or cushions, yoga blocks. And I want you to choose as we start with this first shape, just choosing angle of the thigh bones that feel good for you. And so I often like to start with a really wide open Baddha Konasana, meaning the heels are far away from the pubic bone. Some will appreciate bringing the heels closer in to lengthen the inseam of the groins. To choose your own adventure as you walk the fingertips forward and fold in. And so I'll ring this bell just to signal that we're arriving in the practice field together in this spacious heart practice. Welcome. We soften into this first shape. I'll ask that you scan through the skull first. We'll begin with the head center as we make our way today to focus on the heart, I just want to acknowledge there's really three subtle body centers in the body, and we tend to come in head forward, head first. Because we tend to be so much in the thinking mind outside of the practice field, we'll actually gather the kinetic life force there. There's so much movement in the mind stream. And so you'll find as you pierce through your third eye, really coming in between the brows, try to just follow this groove. There'll be like a groove that wants to pull you in to the center of your brain. Back towards the occipital ridge, the base of the skull, between here and the third eye. You'll come to the center. And so breathing here, even massaging with the rhythm of the breath. The center of the brain where the pineal gland sits. It's this pea-sized, potent gland. And it secretes all these alkaloid substances like melatonin and serotonin and tryptamine. So enriches the cerebrospinal fluid. We'll do a little inner method here for a few rounds of breath, last minute or so of the pose, where you'll pull the breath in through the third eye and just feeling that swirling through the skull, right? All that cerebral activity that you've moved through the morning with, all that kinetic life force. And on the exhale, just sending that like a stream of chi to the body. Let it soak the shoulders, the arm bones, the hands, the fingertips. So again, inhale, pulling in through the center of the brow into the center of the brain, that pineal gland lighting up. And then on the exhale, all that activity descends. Can soak the torso now and even the belly or the spread of the hips. Each inhale, swirling the chi as you gather in at the very center of the skull. And the exhale is like this distribution, right? Like mist settling over a valley, just descending the activity of the chi beneath the collarbones. About 3 more breaths like that. I'm just starting to link here, yeah, that bridge of the throat, the glottis, deep breath that links the head to the space beneath the collarbones. The wings of the diaphragm start to turn on. We'll press into the palms now and slowly roll up and all the way on to your back for a constructive rest where the heels go wide, the knees knock into touch. You bring the hands to the belly. Constructive rest. And so anatomically, we've just moved from this external rotation, this opening of the knees, to now pulling the knees into touch and rest on one another. And you'll play with how far the heels walk out laterally, and also how far away the heels are from the sits bones. And then energetically, once we've set up the shape, we'll draw ourselves into that place beneath the palms. So with the hands resting softly and kindly at the low belly, we drop even further now out of the head and into what's called the hara, which is another way of knowing the belly brain, yeah? This is where our intuitive realms persist, that instinctual responsiveness. And most notably, the wisdom of interoception. So, this understanding of the internal state of the body. And since we're still arriving, we'll use this shape to just pause whatever you were doing before this session and soften into the space of the belly now. So that you can really get a sense of how you're doing. And we'll come into that inquiry richly over the next few poses, that ever-present mindfulness inquiry. How am I? How am I doing really? So we'll take 3 more breaths here, starting to float that contemplation into the body-mind from the orientation of the belly. And then we'll slide the left heel long to the ground and come into a half happy baby with the right knee bent. Ardha Ananda Balasana, where you can grab for the inner or the outer edge of that right foot. Left hand stays at the belly. Right hand grabs for the foot. As you bend deep into that right knee, turn the right bicep on a bit. Yeah, there's some working, some yang energy, even within a yin pose, to pull that right foot down outside of the length of the right side body. And then there's a slight angling in of that right patella, the kneecap kind of gears towards the right armpit rather than splaying out too far wide. That way you get some length through the inseam of the right leg, right thigh bone. As the thigh starts to surrender towards the ground, noticing if you've capsized most of the weight into the right hip and you're kind of dumping through the right SI or the right hip joint. That left hand can serve as a bit of an anchor towards the left side of the belly or the left hip, so that you just bring a little bit of weight through the back of the left side of the pelvis. And then see that that right ankle floats just above the right knee as you continue to pull the right foot down and angle the right knee in towards the right armpit. On an inhale, breathe length from the pubic bone along the inseam of that right thigh, elongating the groin. And on an exhale, feel like you can weight the left side of the pelvis a little bit more. You could even use the left hand to just comb the belly or weight the left thigh bone. So the inhale, it's the lengthening through the right inseam. But the exhale is like the organs start to drift left bound, and you can use your hand to support that. In other words, we're stabilizing the sacral plate, yeah? 3 more breaths like that. Inhale, elongate the right inseam. And exhale, start to spread the belly left bound. Bring a little more weight into that left SI, back of the pelvis. Twice more, inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale, lengthen. And this exhale, left hand grabs for the right knee and drags it across as the belly rolls across. You drag the right thigh across for a supine twist. Pulling the right thigh across the body as the right hip, the right knee rolls right bound. The left thigh rolls internally towards the plumb line, towards the center line. And so you'll feel like both frontal hip points are rolling in some towards the pubic mound for this supine twist. Now, traditionally, we cue the cervical spine, we cue the head and the neck to gaze right at that open palm. Given that we're tracing the heart meridian today, I'll suggest if you have healthy tissue through that rotator cuff on the right side, that the right palm spins down onto the ground and you spread the fingertips as you gaze left towards the left shoulder. Beautiful. And once you've come into the pose, we take up that inquiry again, the how am I? On this side of the twist with just contemplating, scavenging, excavating for anything that you're celebrating today. What are you feeling good about, lit up about, inspired by? What am I celebrating right now? And just use this soft stillness away from stimulation, away from society, from our social endeavors and obligations, to really form right relationship with ourselves. How am I? And what's going well right now? What's working? What's in alignment? Just list the things, cataloging what's right. Something to celebrate and appreciate. And let yourself feel all of that, the glimpse streams of our grateful nature and what that stirs up in the body mind, the sensations that come to the foreground when we're focusing on appreciation. And so here in that wide spread of our gracious nature, we'll find about 3 more breaths. If the right palm is facing down on the floor, spin the palm and then spin the gaze towards the open spread of that right hand. And then unfurling from the twist, we'll bring the right leg long now, drag that heel away and come into half happy baby on the left side. Ardha Ananda Balasana. The left knee bent now, and the right hand comes to the right belly. And for some of you, you'll enjoy the palm of the right hand more along the top of the right thigh, that hip socket juncture. So some space to extend through the right leg and deepen through the left knee as you float the left heel above the kneecap, feeling that perpendicularity of the left shin bone to the floor. And then it's long through the left inner thigh, and we'll breathe that length through the rivulets, the prana ponds, those streams of fascia along the inner thigh. The inhales lengthening here from the sit bone to the left knee. And the exhale, just rolling the belly right bound towards the right hip. So it's almost like the low colon, digestive tract, it just starts to drift towards the right thigh to balance the back of the pelvis. Again, inhale, elongating left thigh, inner groin. And exhale, weighting the back of right side of pelvis by way of that navel drifting towards the right hip. 5 more breaths like this. Like an energetic balancing of the mid-body. We're occupying the belly center here. And then directing the chi to travel from the navel, from the hara center. Balancing the chi at this low orb around the hips, belly, base of ribs. It's a place to gather and move from as we venture into the heart terrain over the next few poses. Let's come into a supine twist when you're feeling ready. Left thigh rolls across the body and guides the left hip crease towards the right. As the right thigh rolls internally, some you'll feel that chop sticking of the sit bones, right? Like they're magnetizing in and then long towards the front edge of the mat. I sometimes like to take my right hand to the top of the left hip, and the heel of the hand just pushes the hip crease away. You'll really feel that length through the lumbar spine. Releases the psoas. Length through the low belly. As the outer hips reach away from the base of the ribs. That left hip still rolling across the body for the twist. Now for that scalene or that neck and heart channel stretch, the left palm can spin down. It's wide through the fingertips as you spin the gaze to the right. So can the breath be both wide and soft? So we're still investigating the how am I inquiry because it actually takes some time to really check in with ourselves and opening different pockets of the body mind. So on this side of the twist, what am I suffering right now? What feels difficult? That uncertain terrain where I'm not being seen or supported, where I just can't figure it out. What's difficult right now? At the peak of summer 2025, on the eve of August approaching, what am I struggling with right now? Give yourself a moment to really turn towards that material we usually prefer to turn away from. This is hard. This is dark. This is heavy. And let the lightness of your being, that chi flush, just reach out towards that heavy or the bitter root. Of what's plaguing you today. And notice how that feels in the body as you turn towards it. Maybe particular regions feeling activated, lit up, constricted. Just noticing, not fixing. 3 more breaths. Bring the left palm back. Bring the gaze across, resetting cervical spine. We'll stay wide, wide here as we come to center. Unraveling, unwinding it, bringing the knees into the chest. Take a deep breath in and release it completely. So there's no gripping in the low base of the lungs. It's like the wings of the diaphragm are just starting to really unfurl. I like to imagine like cumulus clouds just rolling open through the base of the ribs. As you choose a symmetrical pose, either full happy baby or Supta Baddha Konasana, recline bound angle. Reclines the laying down butterfly pose. You choose Supta Baddha Konasana or Ananda Balasana, happy baby or butterfly. And I want you to feel long across the front of the spine, whatever you've chosen. We're going to start to draw a bridge now. We spent the first few poses in the head, just activating through cerebral momentum that exists so strongly at the foreground so often for us. And then we brought it into this inquiry of the belly. How am I? What's here? What's life feeling like today? And it said that perhaps these two wisdom regions meet most masterfully at the heart, right? The center between the head and the hara. And so starting to circulate, this should start to feel good, really initiating that stream of chi, that circulation of the breath through the lungs, underneath the collarbones, the armpits, the back of the shoulders. Fill the side ribs, that thoracic cavity with breath nutrition. And it's here we'll focus in the heart realm for the remainder of our practice, opening these chambers. Take a few more breaths here. And then hug the knees in. Pull the thighs in to the frontal ribs. Either rocking and rolling along the length of the spine or coming up through a fetal position, side lying. We'll meet in seated, yeah? Seated with the fingertips touching right in front of the heart. So elbows, wrists, fingertips all in line, right? Palms flat. And another way of just, again, drawing yourself out of the head beneath the collarbones to the heart and also pressing down, sit bones, press down and lift the low belly and meeting, head and hara meeting at this bridge at the heart. We'll borrow a page from the Kundalini yogis here. We're going to just start to spin the palms, one on top of the other, so that you're rolling the forearms from the elbow joint right in front of the heart. Yeah. And I want you to feel like the vibrant tapestry of that heart loom, like you're weaving that out through the sternum, that bright breastbone, and you're just pulling these beautiful, colorful strands out of your system and this heart loom, right? Weaving it into the room you're in. And any people that occupy this space with you in the house you're in. So the goodness, the benevolence of your heart There's these golden threads out into the space. Bless you, bless you. Even those that have challenged you today or recently that are nearby, just letting them feel, offering into the space you share, these heart threads. Keep going. Feel the triceps maybe starting to heat up, spinning the forearms. And keep weaving that heart loom now out into the space of your whole neighborhood, out into the valley of your social life, extending it, all these people. Sending love, sending blessings. Keep going. So weaving the heart loom, sending it out. And we're clearing too, right? All that congestion, the cobwebs, the bitterness, the resentment, the envy. We're just cleaning this, cleaning house. Keep going. I'm with you. Keep extending it, reaching far and wide past your neighborhood, to the mailman, the shopkeepers, strangers, challengers, ancestors. Oof, Anahata is so big, so boundless. Keep going. Give it away, give it away, give it away. Keep going. Here for 3. Beautiful, everybody. Last 2. Release. Oh, feel the meridian, yeah. Through the forearms, the elbows, threads through the fascia of the bicep. That golden hearted benevolence that Roshi Joan calls grandmother's heart. Let's come into a Sphinx pose. We'll bring the legs behind us. We'll come to rest on the belly, tops of feet. Pubic bone anchors in. Elbows, forearms can be parallel, or some people like to grab for opposite elbow here. Yeah, nice. We're in the heart mind now, yeah? Can you feel it? This gentle presence that's warm and loving, even in the face and in the midst of what you're suffering and what feels down and dirty. There's still a sense of, I can visit here and be light and lifted too. There's so much freedom in that. And so we'll attempt to orient here for the remainder of the practice. Breath around the top lobes of the lungs, just to feel like this gleaming, stirring, spinning chi between the shoulder blades, soaking the breastbone, that honey in the lungs of this just golden presence. And something I want to remind you of here is your bodhicitta, your Buddha nature, your awakened heart, which is so easy to forget in the realm of our inner critics and the outer judgments, and others who have made us feel small, that we might use this pose to awaken to this remembrance of our goodness, our Buddha nature. And I'm kind, I'm clear, I'm connected here. Let yourself feel good about yourself in this pose. There's so many other places in life and through social media and maybe our work in the world and difficult relationships. It's easy to feel insufficient or unworthy. And this regal pose of the Sphinx, like such a noble shape, we can reclaim our sovereignty and our spaciousness and our goodness. So you can stay exactly as you are or deepen the back bend either through bending the knees or you can come up onto the hands, and so you lift the elbows for your seal pose. And it's a spread across the wrist creases and almost this gripping in of the fingertips to take a little bit of weight off of the inner wrist. As you reach the heart forward through the gates of the upper arm bones, wherever you are, offer the shelf of the heart space forward. Curl up through the collarbones and breathe wide, side to side, across the clavicles, the spread of the top of the ribs. Noble, spacious, wide open goodness of the heart. You've got 5 more breaths here. You can always come down sooner, yeah? Never locked in. Always a choice to be with. One last inhale. And exhale, surrender all the way down, stack the palms, and rest the third eye. It's like a belly down Shavasana. Let go of the glutes so you can weight the thigh bones towards the ground. Heavy through the elbows. When you're ready, press to child's pose. Hips pull back to the heels, arms reach forward, melt in. And now, depending on the content today, depending on the material you're working with and integrating, sometimes I like to challenge the child's pose and kind of move it more towards a frog pose where the big toes move away from each other and the knees go really wide. If you're craving more of that hip activity, you can come onto the elbows and really push the hips back and challenge the edge. And the opposite end of the range would be a very soft child's pose with the inner knees and the big toes together and the soft curling in. Either way, you get to be in this shape in a way that holds you with the lush sorrow and the buoyancy of your joy. This is the heart's work to get wide and open and spacious enough to hold it all. And explore the life of your present form. And to feel at home. To be at home with yourself, no matter what is going on in the inner or the outer world right now. Right? This is metta. This is friendship, companionship. This innermost ally persists as a central touchstone to move from. This is foundational work. Can I be with myself here? And 3 more breaths where you are. Exactly as you are. And then we'll come up and weight the hands as you slide into tabletop. From here, a dragon lunge with the right foot forward first. Yeah. And so depending on your anatomy, your immutable skeleton, depending on that thigh to hip socket connection, some people will like the right foot outside of the right hand. I sure do. And I like to come onto the knife edge of that right foot, kind of peeling the inner arch away from the floor. Some people like to frame that right foot with either hand, okay, so that the foot's in between the fingertips. And then rather than bringing the weight onto the left knee, there's actually this reaching of the pubic bone forward towards the right heel. So I'm actually bringing in, you can see that my weight's not on the kneecap, but actually on the distal end of that left thigh bone, isn't it? Right? Where the thigh bone meets that upper ridge of the patella, the kneecap. So that happens from dragging pubic bone forward, lengthening front of the pelvis towards that right heel, and weighting not the left kneecap, but the left distal end, the far edge of that thigh bone. And because we're holding each of these shapes for long enough to really delve internally, yin and inquiry is such a rich marriage. I often like to put my contemplation methods into the yin time. So we can look particularly today at places that we've kind of pushed to the side or into the shadowlands. Elements within us that need some care. Right? Softening the self-critic for long enough to regain a sense of self-respect. So So over the next few poses, I'll talk you through a practice of inquiry that has this quality of metta embedded in it. In a way we practice relating to ourselves as a foundation for a healthy heart. We'll be here for one more minute, and some of you might choose to come down onto the elbows or even bend into that left knee, grab a hold of the foot for a quad stretch. Can I be with myself right here? About 3 more breaths. Can they be deep and soft simultaneously? Subtle body current. And we'll release into a half Hanumanasana, half split. So sit on that left heel or inside the left heel. Right leg long, folded in. Drape it down. Melting in. Half split. So as I mentioned, we'll layer these poses with a compassionate inquiry practice. Practicing metta. And the inquiry here is there anything I haven't forgiven myself for about my body? Something you've been carrying you feel is your fault, like you're to blame for how this is in your body, and you can get really concentrated on criticizing yourself when you go there. We'll work with that tendency, yeah? Where is that for you? There's some energetic fog to clear up, so we'll go there now. And continue your long, soft breathing. That wide, warm breath, feeling like the breath is a massage therapist's hands, right? As a balm, just bringing some breath nutrition to that area. So that place you blame yourself, it's diseased or incapacitated in some way. Or aesthetically, you've always hated this part. Or maybe something changed you used to love, and through age or accident, it won't be that way again. And you blame yourself. Just go to that area that lives in the dark, lives with daggers being thrown at it. No? And right now, just letting the light body, the chi body flush through it. Fresh curiosity as a clear lens. Good. And then we'll press into the palms and inhale and come up. And we'll shift forward again into pigeon on the right side with the right knee bent. If you'd rather take figure four, you lay on your back and drape the right ankle on top of the left thigh. Otherwise, you're coming into pigeon with the right shin forward. Re-extend through that left leg. Pigeon pose. Really nice, everybody. Beautiful. So when you normally condemn this part of you, when you torture yourself about this issue, what do you believe about this body part? What does it say about you that this is like this? It's injured, or you're feeling overweight, or incapacitated. What do you believe that says about you? And then notice what you feel about this area right now. How am I feeling towards this space right now? What unpleasant feelings live here? Distaste or detest sometimes arises, and so we'll practice asking if these feelings towards this part of your body are willing to relax. See if they're willing to relax into the space around you. To let this part of you be just as it is, without the feelings that are usually conditioned here. Fresh curiosity as a clear lens. We're interrupting the cycle of the self-critic. About 3 more breaths. Before pressing to the palms from pigeon, or those of you in figure 4 coming up for a seated twist. And just come onto that right hip, shift onto that right hip, drag the left thigh up and around, left hand behind you. Seated twist. This is one of my favorite seated poses. There's a lot of good ones. This one certainly helps to flush that whole plumb line, the spiraling of the cerebrospinal fluid from the base of the skull through the flush of the SI joint. Hug that left knee in, yeah, but spread the heart away. And you can gaze over the left shoulder. If you enjoyed that scalene stretch from supine, you can take that same thing and just spin the gaze across the right shoulder as you pull the left collarbone, glide it out of the sternum, and feeling like you could really breathe along the left side of the neck and the inner walls of the throat on the left side. It's like fish gills, yeah? With that left glute just hanging off the hip. Weight the sit bones. Soft across the kidney band, low back. Spreads wide. 3 more breaths. Ah, gorgeous. Unravel, unwind. And the left foot is conveniently forward now for your dragon lunge on the second side, the beloved, the beloved lunge. Yeah, so you'll see a little more easily on this side that depending on your pelvis, you might want that left foot outside the hand, and you can see I've peeled the sole of the foot off the ground. I'm on that knife edge of the left foot. I really tip the right side of the hip down, so I'm asymmetrical for sure in the sacral plate here, but that helps me to lengthen the right psoas and the quadricep. Some people like to walk that left foot in towards the center and frame the foot. Either way, we're reaching forward and down through the front of the pubic symphysis, and the front of the pelvis synthesizes, comes together. And then we settle in once we've set the posture up. And come back to that focus area. We're consciously coming to feel that the existence there and attempting to free ourselves of the history of it, right? The normative narrative of the critic. Letting conscious awareness flush through this space without our normative opinion about it or about what it says about us. Can you notice that awareness can be alive in this area when you're not so hooked into that common perspective that you've carried? That particular perspective that's contractive. We unhook from that a moment and we can notice, the life force, it pulses here too. This is sacred domain too. And so we'll honor that with a few more breaths here. And when you feel ready, when you're balanced, half Hanuman awaits us. The half splits as the next shape, either sitting on that right heel or inside of the right heel. We'll fold in. Really nice. So we'll drape the heart long and curl chin in towards the chest. And feeling long through the frontal ribs. There's this beckoning of the breastbone towards the length of the left shin. Really nice. And so you'll soften in a way that you can come back to yourself and come back to this work. Just noticing how you're feeling in this region when the history's untethered from it for now. So even if it's still unwell or dysfunctional, it's the quality of being present there. That wakefulness, loving kindness is included in this area of the body. When you're ready, pigeon or any externally rotated hip stretch, the figure four as an alternative. For Ekapada, Rajakapotasana, the half pigeon for the left hip. Nice, everyone. Sensing that we've come into this space we usually get caught by, and practicing redesigning an attitude towards it that's more tolerant. So we're not blocking the flow through our judgments. We're not operating against ourselves. The sense of friendliness can extend through all the layers of our being. So there's more movement, more fluidity in the system. And so we'll widen that sphere of interest beyond just that place in your body and expand through the whole body-mind, flushing chi, flushing wakefulness, loving willingness, and let it go wherever it needs to flow and mobilize and acclimatize. Knowing that you're awake, and wakefulness is including the totality of the organism right now, the whole gestalt of being in your own skin with friendliness as the base layer. Few more breaths. When you feel balanced and ready for the seated twist that's on deck, push into the palms, lift it up, shift onto the left hip, and bring the right thigh across. For the seated twist, hug the right thigh in, right hands behind as a pillar or a post to support this rotation of the spine. Spin the gaze to the left. If you liked that stretch across the jawline, temporalis, mandible, all the way through the spread of the right collarbone, the heart channel. Threading over the next few poses this metta prayer, may I be my own friend. May I develop this alliance. Inward alliance. May I be well. Right relationship with self. We'll come through center and choose one last symmetrical pose. I'll suggest a wide angle forward bend so that you get that length for a fold. You could take another back bend, maybe a supported bridge on a block or on a pillow, legs up the wall. One last symmetrical pose before Shavasana. We're going to expand on metta here, having focused on ourselves first. Send that sense of well wishes, that warm benevolence, that tolerance, that I've got you, I see you, I celebrate you. Send that to someone you love right now. I'm your ally. Make them your good friend. anything they need to hear. And now to a challenger. Yeah, this is where we really push the edge of our heart bounds and see how boundless we actually are. Can you practice metta for someone that's caused you difficulty? May you be well. I see your goodness, even if you've forgotten your own bodhicitta, reminding them of their inherent resource they possess for goodness. And believe that that's true for them too. May you be well. May you feel supported, seen, celebrated in your original innate goodness. A few more breaths. Pushing in to the ground to come up and through in any way to get to the final resting pose, your journey now to Shavasana. Beautiful job. Drop it down, melt it in, go empty. When you go empty by clearing all of that content and settling in through the bone line, heavy through the skeleton, giving yourself the ground of gravity. Trust that you are igniting that precious fire in the heart. The goodness of your Shen, your heart spirit. Lay beside the warmth of that. The goodness of that. And let this ignite and activate whatever and whomever is ahead. Your inseparable family. All those around you and that you'll be interacting with, and it comes from this ignition. Grandmother's heart, yeah? We're approaching the top of the hour, and I'm feeling called to, given we're in Zoom, to just allow you to come out in your own time and your own rhythm. So we'll close here with just a brief bow of me thanking you and me bowing to your goodness, your regal, sublime nobility, your Buddha nature. Thank you for being here. Big love to each and every one of you. May we go out and remind others of their goodness too. Namaste and see you on the path. Thank you.